The Bride Who Never Ate in Daylight. In the quiet village of Oduka, there lived a young man named Obinna, heir to one of the richest families in the land. Though women from all over sought his hand, he wanted something different, someone mysterious, someone unlike the rest. Then one market day, he saw her, Alaire, the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her eyes shimmered like moonlight on still water, and her skin glowed as though kissed by the heavens. She spoke softly, smiled rarely, and moved like a secret. Within a week, Obinna was in love. He asked for her hand, and though her family hesitated strangely, they agreed. Their wedding was the talk of the village. Drums beat all day, dancers spun until dusk, and everyone celebrated the perfect couple. But there was one thing everyone noticed. The bride never ate. At the feast, while others devoured roasted yam and spicy stew, Alaire only smiled politely and said, "I will eat later, when the moon rises." Obinna laughed it off. Perhaps she was shy or unwell, he thought. But the days turned into weeks, and every meal ended the same way. Alaire would not eat while the sun was up. No matter how delicious the food, she only whispered, "My stomach sleeps by day, my love. I'll eat at midnight." Obinna's mother grew uneasy. "My son," she warned, "a woman who hides her hunger hides her heart." But Obinna brushed it aside. He loved her, her gentleness, her grace, her mystery. Still, curiosity burned in him like a hidden fire. One moonless night, unable to resist any longer, Obinna pretended to sleep. As the clock struck 12, he heard movement, the soft creak of the floorboards, the faint rustle of silk. Through half-open eyes, he saw Alaire rise from the bed, her white wrapper trailing behind her. She carried a clay pot and moved silently out of the hut. Heart pounding, Obinna followed at a distance, hiding behind palm trees and shadows. She stopped near the family's small goat pen. Then she knelt. Her shoulders trembled. Obinna leaned closer, and what he saw turned his blood to ice. Alaire opened the clay pot. Inside was something dark, writhing, whispering. With a shudder, she dipped her fingers in and began to feed. Her tongue stretched unnaturally long, lapping at the contents, her eyes glowing faint red. Then came the sound of faint bleating from the goat pen, followed by silence. Obinna stepped back, gasping, and his foot snapped a twig. Alaire's head jerked up, eyes blazing. "Who's there?" Her voice was no longer soft, it echoed like a growl from deep within the earth. Obinna ran. He didn't look back until he was inside the house, bolting the door shut. His heart raced as dawn broke, but when he turned, Alaire was beside him, lying peacefully on the bed, smiling. "Good morning, my husband," she whispered. "Did you sleep well?" Obinna said nothing. He only stared. The next day, he told his mother everything. The family called the village priest. When he came, his face grew dark. "This woman," he said, "is not of the living. She feeds on life itself. She walks with man but eats from the spirit world. You must send her back before she consumes you too." That night, when Alaire returned from her midnight meal, she found the house surrounded by elders, chanting ancient prayers. She screamed a sound that shattered pots and windows. Her beauty melted away like wax in fire, revealing a shadowed form with hollow eyes. And then, she vanished into the darkness, never to be seen again. From that day, no one in Oduka village ate after midnight. They said the spirits roam then, searching for the living who share their hunger. Moral of the story: what glitters in daylight may feed on darkness. True love sees beyond beauty, it sees the truth. The Bride Who Never Ate in Daylight Part 2. The shadow returns. Months passed after Alaire vanished into the night of fire and chance. The village of Oduka slowly returned to peace, but Obinna never did. He could still hear her voice sometimes, whispering his name when the wind blew through the trees. He told himself it was imagination, until one evening, he found a white wrapper folded neatly outside his hut, the same kind Alaire used to wear. That night, he dreamed of her. She stood by the river, her face half hidden by moonlight. "Obinna," she said softly, "they cursed me wrongly. You must help me." He woke drenched in sweat, heart pounding. The scent of her perfume, that faint wild jasmine, lingered in the air. The next day, strange things began to happen. Goats were found lifeless, their eyes wide open. Crops near Obinna's compound withered overnight. And every morning, Someone whispered his name, though no one was there. The elders called a diviner, who shook his cowries and frowned deeply. "The spirit of the night bride walks again," he said, "but this time, she does not seek food, she seeks truth." One evening, as the moon rose red and swollen, Obinna went to the river from his dream. There, on the bank, was a lair glowing faintly, neither fully spirit nor flesh. "You betrayed me," Obinna whispered, trembling. "No," she said, her voice sad and echoing. "I was not born of evil, I was given to it. My family made a blood pact generations ago, and I paid the price. When your people burned me, they freed my curse, but not my pain." Obinna fell to his knees. "What do you want from me?" Alair pointed toward the forest. "Bury my heart where it was taken. Only then will I rest." He followed her into the darkness until they reached the old goat pen, the place where he had first seen her feeding. There, buried in the soil, he found a small clay pot. Inside was a black stone pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. "Place it in the river," she said. "Let the water carry it away." Obinna did as she asked. The moment the stone touched the water, the river boiled, and Alair screamed, not in pain, but release. When silence returned, her spirit smiled. "Thank you, my husband. Now I can truly sleep." And with that, she vanished, leaving behind only ripples in the river and the faint scent of jasmine. The next morning, the village woke to clear skies and green fields. No more animals died. No more whispers haunted the night. But by Alair's grave, a single white flower had grown, one that only bloomed when the moon rose. Moral of the story: every curse has a root, and every lie leaves a shadow. Peace is not found by running from the past, but by setting it free. Subscribe for part 3. Who Never Ate in Daylight, Part 3. The child of the river. Years after the death of Alair, peace returned to the village of Oduka, or so everyone believed. The river where she vanished became sacred. No one fetched water from it after sunset. But one night, under a moon swollen like a wounded eye, a baby's cry echoed from its banks. The next morning, a fisherman found a basket drifting near the shore. Inside was a newborn wrapped in a white cloth, smelling faintly of wild jasmine. They took her to the chief's wife, who had longed for a child for many years. She named the baby Enma, meaning grace. Enma grew fast. At 3 years old, she spoke like someone who had lived a lifetime. When she laughed, the river rippled. When she cried, rain fell. The elders whispered that the spirit of Alair had returned, reborn in the form of the child. One afternoon, the chief's wife noticed something strange. Enma refused to eat in the daylight. She would sit at the table, smiling softly, but never touch her food until the moon rose. "Mama," she would whisper sweetly, "food tastes better when the sun sleeps." The woman laughed at first, thinking it was childish mischief, until she woke one midnight and saw her daughter at the doorway, eyes glowing pale blue. Enma was not eating from her plate. She was crouched beside a sleeping goat, drawing something red from its neck, not with her hands, but with her breath. The woman screamed, and Enma turned, her small face calm and sad. "Mama, don't be afraid. I didn't ask to be born this way." The next day, the elders gathered again. The diviner came, shaking his cowries, and sighed deeply. "The curse was not destroyed," he said. "It was washed downstream and found a new vessel." They took Enma to the same river and tried to cleanse her with sacred herbs. But as the water touched her skin, the river began to churn violently. A woman's voice rose from beneath the waves. "You cannot kill what was never meant to die." Alair's reflection appeared in the water, older now, sadder, but powerful. "This child is mine and yours," the spirit said. "She will carry my burden until someone loves her without fear." With that, the river stilled. When the villagers looked down, Enma was gone. Only her white cloth remained floating on the surface, glowing faintly like the moon. Moral of the story: curses do not die in fire or water, only in love and truth. The past will return until the heart forgives it. The Bride Who Never Ate in Daylight, Part 4. The river's last song. Many years passed after the disappearance of little Enma. Her story became a whisper in the wind, a tale told to scare children into staying home after dark. But time, like the river, never truly forgets. It only waits. The village of Oduka had changed: new faces, new homes, but old shadows. One season, the rain stopped. The earth cracked, and the once mighty river shrank into a thin, dying stream. The people wept, for their crops withered, and their animals fell weak. The new chief, Is, grandson of Obina, refused to believe in old curses. He was a man of reason and strength. "If the river will not feed us," he declared, "then we will dig our own well." The elders warned him. They told him of a lair of Enma, of the curse that had slept beneath those waters. But Is laughed softly. "The past cannot hurt the living," he said. And with that, he led his men to the river at dusk. When his spade struck something solid beneath the cracked riverbed, the ground trembled faintly. He bent down and brushed away the dust, revealing a small clay pot, its surface carved with strange symbols. From inside came a soft hum, like a woman's lullaby drifting through water. Is froze. The air grew cold. The pot cracked, and suddenly the river roared to life, flooding the dry earth in a heartbeat. Mist rose. The men fled, but Is stood rooted, staring as a figure rose from the water, a young girl, her eyes pale as moonlight, her hair flowing like waves. "Why did you wake me?" she asked, her voice echoing like wind through hollow reeds. "I was sleeping in peace," Is's heart pounded. "Who are you?" The girl smiled sadly. "I am what your fathers left behind. The bride, the child, the curse, and the river's heart." The water swirled around her feet, whispering in forgotten tongues. Is fell to his knees. "Please, don't harm my people. They know nothing of the past." The spirit's gaze softened. "Every curse must be paid for," she said. "One life for peace as it was before." Without a word, Is bowed his head. "Then take mine," he whispered. "Let it end with me." The river stilled. The spirit reached out, touching his forehead with her cold, gentle hand. "Bravery redeems blood," she murmured. "The river forgives." A bright light spread through the water. Then silence. When dawn broke, the villagers found the river full again, its surface calm and clear. Rain began to fall, soft and cleansing. By the riverbank, Isa's staff stood planted in the mud, and beside it bloomed a single white jasmine flower glowing faintly under the morning sun. They say that on moonlit nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear the river sing a man's voice and a woman's, blending in harmony. A song of love, a song of peace, a song that ended the curse forever. Moral of the story: true healing is born from sacrifice. The river forgets the curse, but never the love that freed it.